Week 5, John. That's week 5, right? So we got week 5, and then we have week 12 in Dallas on Thanksgiving. Those are the 2 games we've confirmed so far in the Eagles' schedule. The full schedule will release, tomorrow night. And then you said today is the full international slate. Obviously, the Eagles already got their international game, so we're not going to learn anything else there. But that full slate comes out this morning, you said?
Yeah, it's coming out 9:00 on NFL Network, I believe. But stay here. We'll tell you what it is.
Yeah, we'll tell you what it is. I don't think the Eagle fans will care. They already
No,
know.
they're not getting another international game. So that's it for the Eagles.
That's it. All right. So they're playing at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I think that's what it's called. Is that what the stadium is called?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And they'll be doing that. They'll be going over there for week 5. So week 5, week 12, you got the Jags, you got the Cowboys. What do you think of the Jags, John, as an opponent? They were obviously a team who had a pretty good year last year, first year under Liam Cohen. Definitely taking some strides forward.
Liam went ahead of Nick Sirianni in the coaches draft.
Again, a crock of shit. But I think Doug built that team, John, and ultimately helped turn it around.
Yeah,
and then,
Doug did help turn them around. Yeah, it's a good team. Trevor Lawrence is one of those quarterbacks that frustrates you a little bit because he's got immense talent and it doesn't always translate. But it did to a certain degree last year. Very good defense, which seems to be the narrative around the NFL. The defense, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the defenses seem to have surpassed the offenses, at least the good ones. And I would put them in that category. I think they're better defensively than offensively. We'll see how Travis Hunter, they're going to move him to cornerback. I think that's a good decision. We'll see if he can make a difference and get him even better. But, good team. I would say good team, not great team. And they're going in the right direction, but they have a long history of making poor decisions as well. So it could derail pretty quickly. I would say, but talented receivers, but Brian Thomas, on the trade market, at least there were rumors that he was on the trade market. A lot of talk the Eagles might go after him. All the Trayvon Walker stuff, they signed him to a big money extension. So they have 2 big time pass rushers in Walker and Josh Hines Allen. Very good linebacker. Secondary could be, bolstered by Hunter being there full time and healthy. Good team. And I think a lot of people don't realize they're a pretty good team yet.
Yeah, good stuff there. All right, Johnny Mac. John, some interesting news here, but real quick that we're going to hit. We're going to have Mike Gill this morning, so I imagine he'll be in here soon. Eagles will play London week 5. We just talked about that. I saw something pop up on my timeline yesterday, John.
Oh, God forbid.
The legendary Kevin Patullo is back in the Philadelphia news cycle, talking about how he contributed to building the Eagles from the ground up. And Eagle fans are not happy about this.
By the way, that pisses me off because if you watch the show, you already knew that.
Yeah, that's true.
Like he was here day one.
You took a lot of shit for telling that to people.
Yeah, day one. He was Nick's right-hand man from day one. He was the guy contacted people for interviews. That's what he's trying to. Like, why do people hate facts? That's his job. That was his job. Everything he said was true. Like, what are people debating? Told you that in 2021. Did we have this show in 2021?
Yeah, we did.
Told you that then. Wrote about it then. Remember when Nick got COVID? Who was going to be the head coach?
Yep.
Remember when everybody went nuts and started talking about Frank Reich and every other offensive coordinator?
But isn't it an embellishment, John, for him to say?
It is not an embellishment. It is not an embellishment. Remember when I told you after the Super Bowl and everybody, Frank Reich, bring Frank Reich back. I said, Kevin's getting the job. Why do people hate backs?
I don't hate facts.
Now,
I
you
am
can
not.
say he didn't do a good job as an offensive coordinator. That's fine. He was Nick's right-hand man. He was the guy contacting people for interviews. He was the associate head coach. He was the guy who was going to coach the team when Nick got COVID. These are all backs.
They're a fact, but I think there are people out there with the perception that Howie and Jeffrey built the team a lot more than either Nick or Patullo or any of the coaching staff.
Well, those are the idiots why he gets 18th on the coaching draft. They don't think Nick does anything. So, of course, they don't think Kevin does anything. They live in a fantasy world. Howie doesn't want to be bothered with that shit. The grind, the day-to-day logistics. You can't help those people. They don't think the head coach does anything. So they don't think the associate head coach does anything. But I mean, that was the reality of the situation, and that was told you in 2021. Never mind 2025 or 2026.
Well, here's Kevin Patullo's quote. He was talking to Miami Dolphin reporters down in Miami. That's where he's working. That's where he's the team he's with now. He said, all 5 years in Philadelphia, I had such a handle on a lot of different things. I was an assistant head coach. I was part OC throughout my entire time there. Even last year, I so heavily involved in a lot of things. I just think the experience of going through that, from building a program up from 21 to this past year, just seeing what goes into it when you have a new roster, when you're trying to set a new culture in place, you're trying to set a new offense in place. So that's Kevin Patullo talking about how his time in Philadelphia will help him with the Miami Dolphins. I knew Eagle fans wouldn't like that one, Johnny Mac, and I knew you'd give him a dose of the J-Mac truth. Logic McMullen, right? What do we call it? Johnny Logic is back for the morning, all right? So
I don't even know. First of all, nothing he said was anything remotely.
No, I didn't really care.
People are nuts.
He's a hot button, John. You know, people love to react. Philadelphia loves to react. You know, I go on, I see it on social media. There's thousands of comments of everybody, you know, ripping and, oh, you clown, this, that. I'm like, man, people really, it's May. You know, people still love to rip on Kevin Patullo.
Well, and that's why, you know, list season. But it's like, okay, like I said, rip on him for not doing a good job as an offensive coordinator. That's fine. That doesn't take away what he did, what his job was. I mean, what you're arguing about what his job was.
Yeah, you know, I remember too, John, that when they were in the Super Bowl that year before he got hired, he was like the hot name out at Media Week because everybody kind of knew.
Yeah, because we all told you he was going to be the freaking offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
nobody listened.
There was crowds around him trying to talk to him and stuff when they were made available because everybody knew, you know, at the time that Kellen Moore was going to get the job. So that was interesting too. All right, 2 super chats, and we got Mike Gill real quick. Colin says, time to celebrate. Daryl Morey got fired. Thank God that stiff is gone. Nah. Hey. Goodbye. Good riddance.
Well, we'll bring on Mike. We'll talk some Daryl Morey.
One more here.
You know,
Brian,
difficult spot. Gave out 2 monster contracts that didn't work. And when you do that, you don't have flexibility and you can't do much stuff. And look, the results weren't there. It's a results-based business, as all professional sports are. That's the reason KP's not here. Same thing with Daryl Morey. Not a surprise, but as usual, dumb Sixers fashion. They fire a GM, but they're keeping the coach. So the new GM's he's got to go with a coach he doesn't want or doesn't. It's like, what do you do? They do everything backwards.
Right.
Everything. Such a terrible organization. It's funny because Josh Harris owns the Commanders. And Daniel Snyder was so bad, he looks like a decent NFL owner because he's measured against Daniel Snyder, and it's much better in Washington. In the NBA, the guy's a freaking disaster. A freaking disaster.
Well, we'll see. Here's Brian. He says, agreed, John. Just because you think he wasn't a good OC doesn't mean he wasn't good in other areas of the organization. Facts are facts. Knock it off. There you go. There's a McMullen chat this morning.
Yeah, and listen to Hapley talking about him, when he hired him. Now, obviously, you're not going to get, hey, I hired this idiot, but he hired him and he talked him up. And Nick still loves him, but he had to. That's the nature of this. But same thing with Mooring. It's the nature. It's a results-driven business. Somebody's got to pay if you don't reach your expectations. A lot of times it's not fair, but it's the life you signed up for, as they say in sports.
No doubt. Brian, thanks for the super chat, brother. Let's go to Mike.